Hello, Cheesers, and welcome to an HRL Mixed Terrain Series preview video. Sorry about this one coming a bit late. I wanted to put it out on Wednesday, but I wasn't planning on my graphics card dying, so that was not fun. Luckily I had a spare for my brother that I was going to try anyways and didn't get around to, and now I kind of wish I tried it earlier. I probably would have realized, like, oh, yeah, mine's kind of shit. So I wish I would have done that earlier, but thankfully I still had it, and thankfully it works. And we're back, and I can actually like do this video. So there's a big possibility that this video would have even happened. I would have had to just like do all the communication on Discord and stuff. But thankfully I think we're back. So like the videos for the races and stuff tonight, like that should all be good to go as well, because yeah, if this was chalked, we're gonna have to figure that out too. So but thankfully I think we're good. So but I just wanted to say that at the beginning. So that's the reason for the delay on this one. Sorry about that. I'm still trying to figure out get everything reset on the PC, and like my OBS for Streamwise is like there's so many things missing. I'm gonna try to get on top of that today. A lot of stuff to get back to. But anyways, it's gonna be a schedule preview for the Mixed Terrain series, which, yeah, it starts today. It's kind of crazy. It was a long break. I feel like it was, I want to say, like about a month-long break. Yeah, already over. Time moves. It do be moving. But yeah, it starts today, and I'm going to go through what we have in the schedule so far. As you can see, there's some placeholders, and there's a few open slots. We could fill these slots if we wanted to. Like we have the tracks too, but it was the type of thing where like leaving a little bit of room to see if things get cooked up, and then if they don't, we'll throw in some of the tracks that like could go in these slots. So like if we wanted to have it fully complete right now, we could. It's just not really necessary, and a lot of those things could potentially get moved around anyways, kind of like last season that happened. Like even though we did have a full schedule filled out, a lot of those tracks in the later half ended up being placeholder and got kind of moved around anyways. So that's why a lot of these like later slots are missing. But the first half of the schedule is like pretty much ready to go. So let's go through it the best that we can. Some of these tracks I can say more about than others. I've seen all the terrain ovals. I did a lot of the scouting on that side, and I'm working on a lot of the RXs, so I can talk a lot about those. As far as the terrain and MX tracks go, I can only talk about certain ones. I haven't seen all of them, and I'm not going to lie, some of them I don't really remember the names. So that's kind of a problem with those two. But most importantly, let's go through the first week. I think I'm getting hit with the allergy cheese today too, so bear with me. It's just going to be rough, I guess. But starting off with Beluga Bay, that is the track that was featured in the teaser that I made for the season. So yeah, it's the terrain oval from that, but it's on Romans files. Check it out. Pretty fun, and a few more Halo 4 terrain ovals in this season. We only had one last season, messing around with a few more in this season. This is the second one that we've raced on, and I'm curious to see how it goes. I think this one's pretty good. Like pretty early on, I saw this track and I was like, oh yeah, let's make this the opener. So I think it's pretty good. Oh yeah, I should mention too, like as far as like format stuff goes, essentially just going back to the usual format of like two tracks per night, one moto on each track, and there are heat races to start off the night. But yeah, basically just going back to the same usual general format that we tend to do, as opposed to the one with no heats and 3 motos last season. And of course, there's a couple triple crowns mixed in. The grand final is a quad. And for the triple crowns, I think we'll probably do no heats for the triple crowns. We do have heats listed right now, but I think we'll probably adjust that. We'll see. Grand finals for sure won't have heats, because that's just not really necessary for the grand finals. Anyways, so yeah, Beluga Bay, and then Malvine RX for Opix. I had to move this one up. It was supposed to be my track Sebring Short, and Sebring Short technically is done. Move that around. That's my bad. Sebring Short is like technically done, but there are a few adjustments that I want to make to it before we race it, because I think it'll probably be better for the racing on that track. Like, I think we could race it today, and it'd probably be okay. But if I get to make those adjustments, I think it'll probably be really good. So, Opix's RX, on the other hand, is ready to go, as far as I can tell. And I think it should be pretty fun, and it's very terrain-based. Has a crazy long joker, has some brutal terrain in some sections. Be interesting to see, you know, how everybody navigates it. So, that's the opening night. That's the most important thing from this video. Opix track, Roman track, if you want to check these out. Before we race them, Terrain Oval and RX. And then the other like format rule thing to mention, I think it'll be like 2 jokers. If there's a heat race starting with an RX, then it'll probably be like 1 joker in the heat race. Tonight, the heats are not on the RX, so you don't have to worry about that. It'll be 2 jokers for the race. And I think it'll be how we've been doing it, where you can use the joker on the, you can use the joker on the first or last lap, unless otherwise stated. Because like some tracks, it is kind of cheesy to use the joker on the first lap with where the jokers can be placed. This one, I think it's fine. This one, the joker is like very late in the lap. I'm going to say right now that you can use joker on first or last lap if you want to, because yeah, that joker is like very late in the lap. It's also like a super long joker, so I think it's like not very cheesy to do it on this track. It's probably safer, honestly. So yeah, it's totally fine. Okay, going through the rest of the tracks that I can talk about. This is a Roman pure terrain track made on the Reach map. Highlands? I think it's Highlands. I think it's called Highlands. It's the track that we have a lot of TRSs on. Like, I can't think of the name of it right now, but the Roman TRS that has been featured like multiple times. It's on that map. It's on that same map. And I think this one's pretty solid. You know, good mix of like different corners and different challenges to face for a pure terrain track. So this is on the Roman track early on in there. 7 Flags MX. Haven't seen this one. Can't really talk about it. Yosemite RX. This is a Roman RX. This one was decided on very early in the schedule. Reach Goose RX, very similar to Opix's, where it is, well, actually, Opix's is like damn near, like almost all terrain. Roman's does have a little bit more block action in it, but it's still like mostly terrain, I'd say. Got some challenging sections. I think this one's really cool. Looking forward to racing that one. Machian Speedway. This one is a like short track showdown. Terrain oval on Reach, very, very small, very tightly packed. Should be like intense, like crossover filled racing on this one. I'm excited to see how this one races. It's a new one that I cooked up for the season, and yeah, it is very short track showdown. Like, this is a small one, even for like terrain oval standards, but I think it should race pretty well. Triple Crown, we got Convolution terrain track. I don't recall this one, can't really talk about it at the moment. Snowback Pines Motocross, another one that I'm not sure about, so I can't really talk about it. Hog Track, though? Hog Track? Is that intentional? Interesting. Okay, weird. I'll have to see if that's intentional. Cairns Raceway. This is a Halo 4 terrain oval that I cooked up for this season, so I can talk about this one. Very similar to the Reach one in that it's like very short, very compact. And there's a little bit of throttle control. A little bit of throttle control that you'll need on this one. There's some sends you can make. There's some bogs that can happen if you're not careful with your throttle points. Some tight corners that you have to make to make the best lap time. But I don't think you can just like, if you just hold inside, you're probably gonna get like wrecked, honestly, probably. So I don't know how that'll work. So that should make for decent racing on it. We'll have to see how it goes. I think it should be pretty fun. Chiron Valley. This is Opix's pure terrain. Very long lap on this one. But it's a cool track. It covers like most of the H2A. Blood Gulch covers most of it. And there's actually some really cool sections that like at first you don't think you could take full speed, and then you run more laps and you kind of figure out how you can do it. It's got a cool skill gap that way. I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually really looking forward to this week in general now that I look at it, because the second one's Brands Hatch RX. It's a work in progress. The layout is actually done. I just need to put bordering on it. So the story behind this one is I made there's a short layout of the real life track Brands Hatch. I made that for go-kart last season. I just made the layout, and then Opix came in with the Maji go-kart, and I was like, well, you're done with that, so let's just race that. Like, I'm not finishing this. and I liked that layout anyway, so I was like, all right, let's just race that. Saves me time. You know, I'm fine with that. But I held on to the layout because I liked the layout, and I was like, okay, maybe there'll be room in the future. And we needed like new RX layouts. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna turn this GK into an RX because I already kind of made the layout that way anyways. Like it kind of already has an RX vibe to it. So I did that, added a Joker. Now I just got to finish the bordering and stuff. I think it's really fun, and I'm really looking forward to that one. Montana Trails Raceway. This is Blake's. And it's an interesting terrain oval on Reach. A lot of throttle action for Reach, surprisingly, and a lot of risk of bogging. Might have the biggest skill gap, honestly, of all the terrain ovals, and we'll have to see how it races. Copperhead Canyon Nationals. This was made by Slaunch for the DSS. It is a national for H2A Gooses. A lot of terrain. It definitely has that national feel. Really cool track. Looking forward to being able to race it again. And then here's Sebring Short, which was supposed to be tonight. I had to move back. Yeah, working on a few adjustments to this one to hopefully make it better for racing. But this is going to be a goose, or sorry, this is going to be a hog. How did I mess that up? H2A hog RX, and based off a short layout of the real life Sebring track, and you know, kind of RXified it. And it's decent right now. Like we could race it today, but it's just there's a few things where it's like I feel like it'd probably be a little conky. So I want a little bit more time to dial it in and hopefully make it a little bit cleaner for racing. And I think once it's done, I think it'll be pretty fun. Roman MX, I think this is something new that he's cooking. Las Vegas NRX, that's a real life layout for another RX slot that I'm working on. I have a layout done for that already. I just need to. It's another one. I just got to finish the bordering. Soccer Super Speedway. This is a H2A Goose track made by Roman. Very high speed terrain oval, and that's part of the reason why I threw it in the schedule. It really stands out in that way. You know, not a lot of these terrain ovals are like super high speed like that, so I thought it was pretty cool. That one should be an interesting race. Dogleg Park. This is, you know, Slaunch made like 8 terrain oval layouts or something on a map. This is the Dogleg Park layout on H4. Interesting turns on this one. They're very tricky, very easy to lock up, very easy to make up time as well. I think this one should race really well. I think it's a cool layout. So to throw that one on the schedule. Utah NRX. This one will Las Vegas, I think, will be a goose track, but I might change my mind on that. Utah, I think, very likely will be a hog track. It's another real-life NRX layout that I'm working on cooking up for the RX part of the season. A lot of these, the layouts are done. I just need to finish bordering. This is the one. Like all the other ones have layout progress or it's done. This is the only one that I haven't started at all. So it's not as bad as it looks. Like seeing all these works in progress, it's not as bad as it looks. This is literally the only one that has no progress. We go to Richmond Raceway, NRX. This one, I have the oval section done, but this one is an RX made inside of an oval. And we're thinking about having some fun with this one and making it where the oval sections of the track, when you go into them, you'll do the World of Outlaw drift action in the turns, and then when you go to the infield part, the RX part, you'll just race it like it's RX. This is a goose one, by the way. So that's the fun idea that we're experimenting with this one. We'll see if we end up going through with that. It's a fun idea, though, and I think it might work really well for this track. So that's, you know, part of what makes it unique, but also, again, it's an RX made inside of an oval. So instead of used to doing like the Rovals, this is like that, but, you know, RX, we're gonna have some jumps thrown in there and some fun stuff, and a Joker and everything. Should be pretty cool. The oval section that I have done so far is pretty fun on its own. Like, it could just be an oval race, not in this season because terrain oval, obviously. But yeah, that's already decent. And then I just gotta make the infield and the actual like RX part of the layout work well. So it's off to a good start, and I think it should be a cool Grand Finals layout, especially if we do that Woo idea. I think it'd be really unique. Grand Finals. Dust Cutter Nationals, made by Detail. This one's really cool. Made this one specifically for the season. It's a Reach MX. I think this one kicks ass. It's really cool. Where it's located is a surprise. Even so, that's a cool aspect of it. But the layout as well, the way it flows. There's some really sketchy parts of it too, which I don't say in a bad way. Like I think they're pretty sweet. And it's cool of like having that feeling like you know, you're racing this track, you're trying to go for the best lap time possible, and it feels like if you overstep just a little bit, you might wipe out. But if you, like, you know, if you ride that line, and you can keep really good speed. And I think this is just, I think it's a perfect choice for the Grand Finals. Might be kind of surprising seeing a Reach MX in the Grand Finals already, but I think it's that good. I really do think it's that good. Yeah, we definitely wanted to find a slot for a Reach MX in the schedule. And I'm glad that we got a really good new one. So shout out to Detail on making this one. I think he really knocked it out of the park. And then we don't have the terrain slot filled for Grand Finals yet, so we'll have to see on that. And then Viridian Super Speedway. I think this one is also really cool from Optics. He made, you know, first of our, like, handmade terrain ovals, if you want to look at it that way. Made it on Halo 4, made it out of rocks. And the way the track races, I'm curious how it'd go with drifting, because it almost gives me, like, old Matt Chili Bowl vibes. Not that we're doing it woo style with drifting, but I'm just curious. But yeah, this one does require a little bit of tweaking. He's messing around with, like, bumps and trying to mess with the line balance. But I think he adjusted it back a bit because we were testing it and we found that the line balance was pretty good, even without the bumps. So we're gonna keep tweaking it. We're gonna keep testing it, try to find the right balance for the bumps on the track. But even with the bumps, this track had a good groove to it, a good flow, and was really fun. And I liked the different aspect of it, like the handmade terrain oval aspect, and it was a cool fit. Looks awesome. So that adding to it as well. So good fit for the Grand Finals in that sense too. But I also think it races well, and I'm excited to see how the first, like, you know, handcrafted terrain oval, because we'll probably have more of those in the future, you know, how that races, and it'll give us a lot of information for if we want to make more of those, because I think we probably will in the future for the terrain oval season. You know, give us a lot of information on how those race exactly. But from what we've tested on it, I think it's pretty fun, and I think it should be really good. So I think Optics did a solid job on this one as well. So yeah, I'm excited for those Grand Finals tracks. It sucks that we have to wait so long for them. All right, so that does it. That's all I can talk about for the schedule right now. Tried to cover, you know, as much of it as I could. Obviously, again, the important part right here. That is the important part. So hope that was informative, and hope to see most of you guys at the race tonight, at the opener Trail Mixed Terrain series. It's a fun layout for a series, fun idea for a series. I like what we've got going so far for the schedule. I think it's gonna be really fun. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you there for night 1.